Hi everybody. In the previous class we discussed the phaeophyce, that is brown algae. So far we discussed the chlorophyce and the phaeophyce. So chlorophyce is green algae, phaeophyce is brown algae. The brown color is due to the presence of pigment phycoxanthin. Okay, so it is similar to the xanthophyll which is present in higher plants. That gives the different shades of green color that range from olive to brown color, olive green to brown color. So phaeophyce they have the structure like more plant resembling structure they have the root resembling structure called hold fast that helps the algae to fix to the substratum, and a stem like structure they have called a stipe, and a large leaf like structure called a frond. Okay, so they can be grow up to 100 meters. So you saw that in a video. Okay, and this phaeophyce members they have the stored food reserve food material in the form of laminarin and mannitol. They reproduce sexually and asexually also. So examples for that phaeophyce members are ectocarpus, then sargassum, dictyota. So like that we discussed. So in this class let us discuss another class, that is rhodophyce. Rhodophyce. Okay, so this rhodophyce, the name rhodophyce, that is refers to the red algae. So it is nothing but red algae. So pigment present there. Pigments are present in the rhodophyce members. Chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D. So if you recall the pigment present in chlorophyce and phaeophyce. In chlorophyce it is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. In phaeophyce it is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C, whereas here in red algae it is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D. So these are the common pigment. That chlorophyll A is the common pigment which is present in all the organisms belongs to the plant kingdom. So plant kingdom dalli baranta ella organisms allu ee chlorophyll A annodu common ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, but different pigments like a B, C, D, xanthophyll carotenoid may vary in the organisms. Okay, so that chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D, they are responsible for green tinge. So along with that, the name red algae, they have red pigment. Okay, so they have phycoerythrin. If you recall the name erythrin, okay, erythrocytes and the red blood cell, the same meaning. Erythra means red like. Phyco refers to algae. So the red pigment here it is called as R phycoerythrin. Okay, so here R refers to rhodophycean phycoerythrin. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ rhodophycean ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ phycoerythrin ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Okay, so this is the pigment that gives the algae rhodophyce member a red color. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, then what about the structure? So ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ rhodophycean ಅಲ್ಲಿ? Okay, they are multicellular. Okay, they are multicellular algae. Okay, and they are considered as advanced algae as well. Okay, and are advanced algae because of the type of reproduction they have. Okay, and then the cell wall Okay, so cell wall of a cell, ಈ red algae ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತ cell ಅಲ್ಲಿ they have cellulose. Okay, so as usual cellulose ಎಲ್ಲ ಫಂಗೈನಲ್ಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ಗೆನಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ cellulose is a common. Along with that they have pectin as similar to other algae. So cellulose ಮತ್ತು pectin ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ common pigments. Okay, so common material where the cell wall is made up of. So along with that they have polysulfates. Polysulfate esters. Okay, so polysulfate sulfate esters ಇಂದ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ cell wall, ಅಂದ್ರೆ cell wall ಅಲ್ಲಿ they have polysulfate material or polysulfate esters. So this is the structure. They are multicellular and the cell wall is made up of cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters. Okay, so this is about the cell wall nature. Then how it look like? So the structure of the algae, red algae is they are thallus-like. Okay, so thallus-like ಅಥವಾ they have highly branched structure. Okay, so they have thallus-like structure or highly branched structure. Thallus-like, so ಇದಕ್ಕೆ example porphyra and example Polysifonia. So how they look like actually? The porphyra is more thallus-like. Okay, so ಈ ರೀತಿಯೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ರೆಡ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ. So it is thallus-like. It looks almost like this. Okay, so porphyra is looked like this. So it is more thallus-like and has the folded like structures. So ಈ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ folded ಥರ structures ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So it has the structure like this. Whereas this Polysifonia, so Polysifonia is highly branched structure. So it has the main axis. It has the main axis, and this main axis shows the branches. So and the branches again branches. So highly branched structure. So like this, it has a highly branched structure. Okay, so this is like a Polysifonia, so highly branched. So branched examples, Polysifonia, and thallus-like is porphyra. Okay, so the red color of this algae is due to the presence of phycoerythrin, that is R phycoerythrin. Okay, so this is how the structure is, and this habitat. So ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು usually? ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಆಲ್ಗೆಗಳು ದೇ ಆರ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಇನ್ marine. Okay, so they are found in marine water and brackish water. So marine water ಮತ್ತೆ brackish water ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ brackish water ಅಂದರೆ ಸೊ estuaries. Okay, so brackish ಅಂದರೆ estuaries. ಸೊ estuaries ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ and rarely in fresh water. Okay, so fresh water ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ರೆಡ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆರೈನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ವಾಟರ್ there is one example called as Batrachospermum species. So this Batrachospermum species is an exception where it is fresh water. Okay, so red algae, they are found in marine water and brackish water, and very few like Batrachospermum is fresh water forms. Okay, and this Batrachospermum is also like more branched structure. Okay, yeah. So this is about where you find this red algae. In marine water, they are found up to the depth of 200 meter. Okay, so because after 200 meter, so light can penetrate up to 200 meter only. So after 200 meter is the aphodic zone. If you consider the water body, especially in the deep water bodies, we can divide them into two layers. One is photic zone, another one is aphotic zone. Okay, so this is the aphotic zone where light is unable to enter. ಈ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಲೈಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪೆನೆಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ 200 ಮೀಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬಿಲೋ 200 ಮೀಟರ್ ದೇರ್ ವರ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆ 200ಗಿಂತ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಝೋನ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವ, ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಫೋಟಿಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಎಫೋಟಿಕ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಝೋನ್, ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಝೋನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ರೆಡ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ. Okay, and few forms are found in photic zone also. Okay, up to 200 meter ತನಕ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು 100 meter ದಾಟದ ಮೇಲೆ you cannot find much of green algae, but you can find this red algae up to 200 meter. Okay, the reason behind this, how they can perform the photosynthesis at the around 200 meter ಅಂದ್ರೆ they have the pigment, they have pigment like phycocyanin. Okay, so phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. Okay, the helps in absorption of light at 200 meter. ಆ 200 ಮೀಟರ್ ಇರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫೈಕೋಸೈನಿನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೈಕೋರೆಥ್ರಿನ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫೈಕೋಸೈನಿನ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ದ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಲೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಲೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಪೆನಿಟ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಫೈಕೋಸೈನಿನ್ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ and perform the photosynthesis. So there is a reason why this red algae could be found in around 200 meter in marine water body. This is the main reason. Okay. these red algae store the reserve food material in different forms. So like if you recall, chlorophyce members have the reserve food material as a starch. So they store the starch within a structure called a pyrenoid. In the same way, phaeophyce members, that is a brown algae, store the reserve food material in the form of laminarin and mannitol. Okay, but here these red algae, the reserve food material is different. A reserve food is Floridian. It is a Floridian starch. ಅದನ್ನು ಫ್ಲೋರಿಡಿಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಡಿಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು amylopectin and glycogen. Okay, so amylopectin ಮತ್ತೆ glycogen structure ಗೆ similar ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, the structure resembles amylopectin and that glycogen. Okay, so remember this Floridian starch is a reserve food material in case of rhodophyceae. Okay. Yeah, next is how they reproduce. Okay, so ಹೇಗೆ reproduce ಆಗುತ್ತೆ rhodophyceae members. Okay, come to the reproduction. So these rhodophyceae reproduce by fragmentation. Okay, so asexual method or vegetative method ಗೆ fragmentation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So in sexual method, it is anisogamous. Okay, so it is anisogamous. Okay, so anisogamous andre we have already discussed what is anisogamous. So in case of anisogamous, larger female gamete and a smaller male motile gamete, that is anisogamous. So anisogamous has different types, like larger non-motile and male it is motile. Okay, so this is also anisogamous. Larger and smaller, male and female both are flagellated. Okay, this is also anisogamous. So this is also anisogamous. So among these, so this one is considered as and this one also oogamous. So in oogamous, female is very large and non-motile, whereas male is motile or non-motile. In most of the case, these male are motile in nature in case of oogamy. Okay, but in this rhodophyceae, it is anisogamous, but we call it as oogamous type. Okay, and is oogamous. So because female is very large and non-motile. Male gamete is very small and non-motile. Okay, so remember here this kind of oogamous takes place. So this kind, that means both are non-motile, and but female is very large and non-motile, and male is small and non-motile. So that is oogamous type. Okay, so very important point you need to remember in this rhodophycy with respect to sexual reproduction is no flagellated forms are found. Very important point. No flagella found in reproduction. Okay, so reproduction alli flagella iralla athwa innondu sentence alla same kind, flagella is absent. Flagella is absent in gametes. So flagella 100% absent irutte. So if you recall the type of gametes in chlorophycy and phaeophycy, in chlorophycy members flagella are present, gametes are having flagella, and they are equal in size, equal length irutte flagella, and they are present at the tip. Okay, whereas in phaeophycy members, if you recall it, so they have two flagella and they are unequal and they are lateral. Okay, so ಎರಡು side ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ flagella, but here it is absent, completely absent. Okay, so that is about the difference between the phaeophycy, rhodophycy and chlorophycy with respect to the gametes. Okay, so let me recall in simple terms. So how there is in chlorophycy and how in phaeophycy and how in rhodophycy with respect to sexuality and flagella. So this is with respect to flagella. In chlorophycy, 2 or sometime 4 equal flagella. Okay, so equal flagella irutte like this, equal flagella irutte gametes alli. Okay, so flagella in gametes, whereas in phaeophycy 2 flagella, unequal and lateral. 2 flagella irutte, unequal. Okay, ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, then rhodophycy, no flagella. Flagella is absent. So you should remember this. This is the important point you need to remember. Okay, so chlorophycy nalli 2 flagella, phaeophycy nalli 2 flagella but unequal. Chlorophycy nalli equal irutte, rhodophycy nalli no flagella at all. Okay, so this is an important point. So this rhodophycy have complex sexual reproduction. Have complex sexual reproduction. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ is larger and non-motile. Male gamete is smaller and non-motile. Water brings male gamete for fertilization. So fertilization agbekanದ್ರೆ, since they have non-motile, they need water. fusion is oogamous type. Oogamous type irutte fusion after fertilization. After fertilization, carpogonium is formed. So this is very complex structure. Okay, so presence of the formation of carpogonium. So carpogonium is a highly complex structure that is found in the reproduction of a rhodophyceae member. So later that carpogonium produces carpospores, then it continues the life cycle. It is very complex and it is out of the scope for PU. So you can just remember that carpogonium. So the difficult structure, so very complex structure is called a carpogonium. So carpogonium is the product of fusion of male and female gametes. Okay. So sexual reproduction is highly complex. Sexual reproduction is highly complex. Okay, suppose let me explain it by taking the example of Polycyphonia. So I already told it is highly branched plant. Okay, so let consider it as male and this is female. So it is heterothalic. Okay, so heterothalic, consider heterothalic. So here that antheridia, like a branch which produces non-motile gametes called as spermatia. Okay, so this spermatia, let me write. So this is spermatia. So then what is that spermatia? Let me explain. Okay, so spermatia antandre non-motile small male gamete. Okay, so non-motile and a small male gamete is called as a spermatia. Technically it is called as spermatia. So here which produces one special structure that is called carpogonia. So this is carpogonium. Okay, so this is a carpogonium. Inside the carpogonium contains egg. The carpogonium irutte adrolagade egg irutte. So they are fused together. So ee reeti fuse aagtave. So let me write that one. So here carpogonium after fertilization develop into carposporangium. It developed into carposporangium. So this carposporangium produces carpospores later. Carposporangium produces carpospores. Okay, so this carpospores later produces tetraspores. Okay, tetraspores germinates to produce gametophyte. ಈ ಟೆಟ್ರಾಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯೇಟು ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂದರೆ 50% ಇಂಟು ಮೇಲ್ ಗೆಮೆಟೋಫೈಟ್ and 50% into female gametophyte. Okay, so of course in between there is a very large complex structures for there. I'm not going to explain in detail, but it is not needed. So simply let me explain it again. So spermatia, non-male, male gamete which has no flagella, that is non-motile and very small. It is produced from a male gametophyte. That male gametophyte produces spermatia, so it fuses with the egg. So that egg is produced in a complex structure again called as carpogonium. Okay, ಆ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಗೋನಿಯಂ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಗೋನಿಯಂ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ. Okay, that carposporangium structure develop ಆಗುತ್ತೆ and it takes very long time. Okay, ಅದೊಂದು ರೀತಿ ಡಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಥರನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ. ಲೇಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್. ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಟೈಮ್ ತೊಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಗೆಮೆಟೋಫೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ ಆರ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಇಂಟು ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟ್. ದಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ and this ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗೆಮೆಟೋಫೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ದಿಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್, ದಟ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೊರಾಂಜಿಯಂ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೋಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್. You can remember these carpospores later by meiosis produces tetraspores. 4 spore na produce ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ upon meiosis. So these tetraspores are released and 50% develop into male gametophyte and 50% develop into female gametophyte. This is the complex structure. Of course what I explain is very simple, but tumba complex ide idu, so it's not required that much. Okay, so this is how it is highly complex in nature. Okay, yeah. So this is about the reproduction, complex sexual reproduction in rhodophysi members. Okay. So carposporophyte depends on gametophyte. That's important. Okay. So let me take the importance of rhodophysi. So this is very important. Agar is produced by gracilaria and Gelidium and the gracilaria. From these two red algae we can isolate agar. So in the beginning itself we told agar is used as the thickening agent. It can be used in the ice creams and most of the case it is used in laboratory to culture the microorganisms. So lab ಅಲ್ಲಿ fungi ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಗ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಥಿಕ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಥಿಕ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾನ ಅಗಾರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ rhodophysi members. And Porphyra is used as food. Okay, so this is the importance of red algae. Okay. So you can remember the examples. 4 examples are enough. So let me list out the examples. One is Porphyra, Polysiphonia, Gracilaria, Gelidium. Okay, so these are 4 examples for rhodophysi members. Okay, so these rhodophysi members are found in marine water and very like Batrachospermum only is found in fresh water. They don't have any flagellated structure during a reproduction. Even in asexual reproduction also they produce the spores which they don't have any flagella. In a sexual reproduction they have a very complex stage like a carposporophyte or carposporangium stage. It is a very complex structure. So this is about the rhodophyceae members. So far we completed chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. So that completes the algae. Okay. So in the next class we can discuss one more division, that is bryophyte. Okay. So we can discuss the bryophytes in the next class. Okay. Thank you.